Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about Cube World. Cube World is a game that's developed by one man. That's it. Some of the textures and model designs and things like that are worked on by his wife. But other than that, there is no outside help. Now, Cube World was a game that was originally produced around 2012-2013 as a very early alpha. The owner is very transparent in the fact that this is a game that he's been working on. It's always been his dream to release, and he really wants to get it polished into a really fantastic game at one point, but he wants to develop multiple years in that. Now, in July of 2013, the alpha saw its last update, and the developer sort of went off the grid, and he only posted on his social media a few times a year. He's been fully transparent about the reasoning behind that, and he's showed development of the game in the meantime through his Twitter. If you want to get caught up on that, you could check out all the information on Cube World and his plans to do things. Also links to his YouTube and Twitter. If you just Google search Cube World and click on Pick Roma, I believe the website is called, you can create an account there, although you don't really need it anymore now that this game is on Steam. Now, a few weeks ago, he finally released that he's going to be dropping a beta of the game on Steam, to which people who already ordered the game in 2013 and have been playing a very unfinished game for the past 6 years, like me, will receive a game code on Steam, and they can be able to play the game. I was super excited. My friends were super excited. But one of the things is he was fully transparent in the fact that this is still not a complete game. He still has a lot of work left to do with it, and that he plans on doing with it. But this is a more polished off version of the initial game that he launched back in 2013. So aside from that, I'll spare you a lot of other details that you can easily find out yourself, but I just wanted to break down a little overview of the game for people who might be hesitant on buying this game or playing this game. It's definitely worth it if you're really into games like WoW, Zelda, Minecraft, because it really brings those three games kind of all together into one. As you can see here, it's got a very Minecrafty cartoon vibe. But it's an RPG, so it plays a lot like a Zelda game or World of Warcraft, which all three of those games are what heavily inspired the developer to make this game. So you'll find a lot of similar features and things. So right off the bat, I'm on here. I've invested a good amount of hours into this guy, and as you can see here, I have a lot of stuff. So right off the bat, I have a lot of legendary gear. Everything in here is color-coded. You'll see the stars that show things too. These are legendaries, epics, and then you got like your rares. You have your common items. Red means it's for a class that's not yours, but I still save those just in case. You got a lot of items. You go around, you defeat enemies, dungeons, etc., and you get these items. Along the way, you find hang gliders to hang glide across the sky, boats to go across the ocean, reins help you ride pets like I currently am now. The divine harp helps you open up certain doors and locations to get items. A sky whistle brings you to these flying fortresses that give you legendary items. A spirit bell helps you go transparent, which is basically only to get through certain doors sometimes. The treasure spirit is a truly awesome item, which pops up as you're running around like this. It'll pop up like right in front, over here or something, and works like a compass. So you follow to the direction it's pointing, left, right, forward, behind you. Sometimes it'll start pointing down or up, and it shows you where legendary or rare items are throughout the map. and allows you to get these items that are truly hard to find, and they're very unique places too. I had one where I just walked up through the middle of these woods, and there was a place in the ground that I've never noticed before. I had to place a bomb, go down, and there was a shrine to where there was a rare chest piece that I could grab. Another one was at this log in the bottom of the ocean. Sorry about that. I don't know how to speak. So it's truly cool. Then you just have all these crafting books that you get throughout, and they let you craft rare, legendary weapons and armor and things like that. Magic things. And then the climbing spikes are truly cool. They let you basically just climb forever. So when you get these, you can climb without using stamina, which I'll just show you on this building here. You hit E when you're in the air and you just climb. You see no stam bar. There's my stam bar, that blue bar there. Because I'm a ranger, I do get stealth. So you see me a little tiptoeing there, and I start to get fully transparent. It lasts as long as I hold shift. Then you have your typical jump and things like that. Every class has the same movement things, aside from a few special movements. So everybody has a dodge roll. As you can see, as I roll, it uses stamina, but I also get stealth as I'm rolling, which is pretty cool. But each class, if you hit the middle mouse wheel, which is the dodge button, and spacebar at the same time, you see I do like a backflip. That's unique to the ranger class that I'm currently playing. Also, you have your right mouse click button, which for the boomerangs lets me send out 2 boomerangs. Then I can send out 1 boomerang with 1 click. And then if I hit R, I have a shadow clone who attacks when I attack. It basically does anything I do for a limited time, which is pretty cool. Can be really helpful when you're by yourself, or even if you're going with friends. Extra hand is always helpful. And that is I believe on the sniper spec of ranger. There's 2 specs to each class, which is really cool. If I switch to scout, I have a sand trap that I guess slows enemies, but I'm not really a fan of that. Since I mostly play alone on this character, I like having that helpful hand. So that's pretty much it for the uniqueness of this character. Now, actually what I did forget to mention is each character has 3 sets of weapons to choose from. So for the rangers, you have boomerangs, then you have a bow, which you can shoot out 1 arrow with a left click, and a multitude of arrows if you hold the right click, which is pretty cool. And then, let's see, I don't think I have one on hand, but you also have, aside from a bow and boomerang, you also have a crossbow, which essentially works the same. Doesn't look like I have one here, so forgive me. Yeah, okay, so that's cool. I also have all this legendary gear on, which you get. So right off the bat, when you start, it's going to be very difficult to kill enemies. You'll notice players with a blue name like this. Blue name, not blue health bar or anything. Blue name means they're friendly. You can talk to NPCs. They will give you quests throughout the map. That I'll get to in a minute. But right off the bat, you start in the middle of nowhere in a random portion of the map. Now, the map isn't randomly generated. It is designed by the developer, but it is huge. I mean, if I go out and zoom real quick, you can see this is just the land that I'm in. As you can see, I have a lot of it discovered and whatnot already. But if we zoom all the way out and kind of just turn things around here, I can go for probably hours and never run into anything. And every one of these zones was hand designed by the developer. Everything in there is laid out already. The only thing that's random is the encounters of NPCs you run into, but as I'm clicking here and keep going, let's see, we're 17,000 kilometers out. When I tried to play with my friends the other day, I was like 180 kilometers away. I mean, it's truly ridiculous how far this is, and you could see over here this is an ocean biome, so there's not really a lot going on, but if we go in here, this is extremely zoomed in. You can see the level of detail. You can even see this is 2,189 kilometers away, so it's truly amazing. Now while we're on the map, I'll just break down to you. Each one of these is a little quest that someone told me about, or I found on my own just going throughout the land. Some of these, like Gideon Rock here, or however the hell you say that, Sanctuary, those I've noticed, I don't know if it's bugged right now, but no matter how much I complete them, I get the items, and then the next time I log on, I can go and there's a new random event that's there, so that's fun. The rest of these areas you go to, and either, you can find these shrines that have lore. You'll see I have 80% lore there, or you find these little areas, and sometimes they'll have the rains there if you find them randomly, or if someone tells you. Sometimes you could go to an area like this where I had to fight a boss in order to get it. There's also shrines throughout the map for you to spawn from. So just a quick thing to do when you get started is, if you just kind of look throughout your map, especially as you play, you'll be able to notice a few things right off the bat. A lot of things that stand out and kind of just seem a little abnormal for the area typically will be. So you'll notice that these little squares are almost always a shrine. So you're definitely going to want to go to those, because that's where you respawn if you die. If you don't go to these and play the special flute, you'll just keep respawning at the same first start zone, which is really frustrating, especially you get all the way up here. The last thing you want to do is die down and respawn down here. So the Circle of Power is unique to each area. That'll give you a certain buff. That's what this little flame is right there. It's really cool. The harp, as I discussed, opens doors and things, and I just had to go here and fight a witch for that. Let's see, what else we got? Oh, so the sky zones that you use the sky flute for, you'll notice a little bird statue. I can go to one, if I can remember where one was. Sorry, this is not pre-planned. This is live, and I don't really edit my videos. If you've watched any of my videos before, you know it's just kind of for fun. Okay, so I think there's one right here. Basically, you're just going to see a little bird statue. You use the flute, and it puts you in the sky. Actually, I think there was one nearby. Oh, there's one right there. So you'll notice a little thing like that, and actually if you zoom in really close on the map, a lot of times, if you look right here where that star is, it'll always look like this. You'll see like a little platform with columns, and as you can see, it kind of blends in really well, but that's always a telltale sign of these sky zones, and they won't show up on your map until you discover them. So if you do happen to come across one, I highly recommend marking it off, just to save you some future problems of trying to hunt them down. There's a few in each area, but as you can see here, I play the flute. These birds carry me up to the sky. And then if I didn't already get this one, there would be an item sitting right up there. And that's about it. Usually it's a legendary item. What is it? This Chibi's Splendid Wood Boomerang is the first item I ever got up here, and it helped me a ton. So as I was saying before, when you start off, you really can't kill anything. Here I'm using my glider. And you really can't kill anything. It's truly difficult. And that's how the game was originally even. Except the alpha game worked a little bit differently. But as you see here, every NPC you fight, even my pet here that I had to tame originally, has different levelings just like your gear. So they're like that purplish blue. And if I fight them, you know, with a legendary, I can pretty much kill them in 1 to 2 hits. I can take them all on if I wanted to right now, which is super cool. But originally, when you get started, you basically can't fight anything. You can fight things that have a white nameplate, and that's about it. It's very difficult, but it makes the game fun to play because you have to just go about and try and find items to get your gear sets up. If you look at the bottom here, my health is currently, I took a little bit of damage from that fall, but I have around 2,000 health, which you start out with like 100. So I've come a long way. Here's a little goblin that we found. They just a little NPC that roams the map. Sometimes they'll give you quests. Sometimes they'll just tell you random things like your name is strange. But as you can see here, you know, we got some purples. I can fight them for you too. See, I'm not doing as much damage here. My pet does fight and help out. If you come too close, they will fight you. There are friendly mobs and NPCs that are in the area. And you can tame just about anything, even if it's an enemy. You just have to get the corresponding items. You click on them, right, and your guy holds them out, and if they like it, they'll come and eat from it. As you can see here, I have a couple different pets. Truly helpful, especially again if you're playing alone. It's really nice to have an extra set of hands. My crocodile classifies as a tank, so he can you know, take aggro for if I don't do too much damage. Eventually I'll pull the whatever I'm fighting, the mobs that I'm fighting. But it's fun. Like I was saying, truly hard to fight at first. You're definitely gonna need to just explore and find some, even some purples do bring you a long way. They do help a lot, but you won't be able to fight anything. As it is right now, I have full legendary stuff, full legendary, you know, gear here, a few purples, doing the best I can to try and find everything in this area. But I still have trouble taking on legendary level mobs. They are pretty difficult, especially the mages. Mages in this game are definitely overpowered, but that's fine. I mean, who doesn't like a challenge? Usually legendaries, you can find sometimes just roaming the map. It's kind of rare, but a lot of times you'll find them as bosses or other things. So one thing is, you may have noticed this castle when I was scrolling by before. Each land has a castle where you get a trinket, and the trinket follows you no matter where you go, and each one is different in every land, and it gives you different items. So here you see I have this thing that gives me increased sailing speed. That's pretty cool. And you know, when you go here, you'll go to artifacts and they'll stack up. So another quick thing is, leveling in this game isn't through XP. It's through getting artifacts. So you get items and that levels up your stats, as you can see on the side here. You see my climbing speed and diving skill and all that. But these are my stats for my weapons and everything, and you saw my health down here. But your level is determined by the amount of artifacts you have. So start off as level 1, you get an artifact, you get to level 2. That's how it works. I mentioned before that the artifacts follow you to every region. So the way that the developer made this game, it wasn't originally like this, but the developer made this game so that each item you get stays in the land you're in, which, yes, is kind of tedious and annoying, but it does add for a cool little fun feature. You know, you can't just roll through every land once you get one legendary or whatever. So as you can see here, this is all I have in the plains that I'm in. If I go to the surrounding area, I have the snowlands where I have this axe. If I went to the jungle area, that's another area right next to me. I have this iron greatsword. None of those I can use, unfortunately. All your items, you may think, oh, well, I have a legendary already. That might be cool. The second you walk into a new zone, which I could probably show you in a second, all your items go back to the same stats as when you first started. They turn gray. If you were to unequip them, you'd never be able to equip them again. It's annoying, yes. Sucks definitely going from like a guy with 2,000 health points back down to 100, but that's the grind. You saw the giant world. I definitely would get bored if I had to just roll through with the stuff I have right now anyway. So it makes it a little fun. The same thing goes, unfortunately, for all the special items here. Hang glider, boat, reins, all that nonsense. They despawn from your inventory and you have to find them in the new area, which I would, is super annoying. I would definitely fix the finding all the items is definitely one thing. Like the crafting books and all that is one thing, but the boat and the hang glider, mainly the boat, is definitely annoying because, as you can see here, I have like 9 back-to-back ocean zones that I'm gonna have to swim across. That's a bit frustrating. And the way it works is the second you cross this border, it disappears. So I'll be riding my boat all the way through here, cruising, having a good time, hair flowing in the wind. And then the second I get to this border, it's gone. And now I have to swim all the way to one of these shrines, all the way to this island. I mean, it's a little challenging there, and it makes it annoying. I mean, I'm definitely not going to go into an ocean zone now because how am I getting from here to maybe the boat spawns here? I have to get all the way over there. I mean, it's a bit ridiculous. But that's just how it is for now. Maybe that'll change. And that's about it. Your regular items like your bombs, apples, things like that. All your crafting items, even your pets. They all stay throughout every region you go to, which is super cool. Now, I have learned about one thing you can get for your weapons and your chest pieces. They're completely random. There's no way to like hunt for one of these items, but they're called plus items, or that's at least what I'll refer to them as. When you get one of these items, it'll show it like it's normal, and then it'll have like a little plus sign with it. And that means you can take it within one region of where you're going. So I'm in these plains right here. If I had a plus item, they could go to the snowlands, these deadlands over here, or this jungle, or this ocean biome here. But let's say if I was going to go to this desert biome, skip these deadlands, those items wouldn't work. I'd be back down to 0 again. So it's a little frustrating, but it does make it cool to try and hunt. As you can see, I'm trying to hunt down every little thing in an area. I mean, it took me basically an entire day to find all these things, and I still haven't found everything. So it's really fun, especially the amount of lands you have here. I mean, countless hours of trying to find unique items in every land, getting unique mounts. Each land has different mobs to fight, different NPCs to interact with. Everything's completely different in each land, which is truly amazing. So you usually have 1 or 2 villages in each land. Sometimes, like this village here, when I first went to it, everybody was petrified in stone, and I had to kill a I think it was a witch in the area. I had to complete a quest that was in the area. And then when I went back, everybody was unpetrified, which is really cool. Adds a little bit of, like, you know, story lore into it. And then from then on, I can interact with whomever I want. But as you can see here, there's, you know, sometimes these shrines that have tombs, they give you a little thing, you know, you see the capital of the warrior realms, blah, blah, blah. And it says lore 20%. Now, lore isn't specific to one region. You can get in other regions. And, you know, I could be in this snow region here, and it could tell me about an artifact or some lore that was in the original region I was starting in, which is kind of fun, but it makes it tedious. Because see here, it says 20%. If I go to these ones, it says 80%, and I'm trying to complete everything in here. So I want that to say 100%. I want to be able to get everything, but unfortunately, that's not the case. It takes a lot of hunting down. I've combed through this entire region as much as I can forever. I'm still finding new things, which is really fun. Definitely shows for the development, how in-depth it is. It's really cool, especially trying to track down those items with the this little guy that helps you find treasure loot. Another thing is this arena. There's one in every zone, and the arena is really fun. You go to it, you click on the little guy, and he'll spawn mobs for you to fight. They're basically bosses. Sometimes they'll have a few little ads and whatnot, but I believe there's 4 to 5 levels, and they get increasingly harder. The 4th or 5th level, whatever the final level is, you fight a legendary boss. Bosses you can typically see because they're generally bigger than everybody else. So let's say, you know, this enchanted forest right here. I usually have to go in there, I have to help these guys, and eventually a boss will spawn, and he's usually a little bit bigger than everybody else. You could definitely tell the difference. A legendary boss will be huge, whether it's a werewolf, a human, a woolly mammoth, whatever. I mean, these guys tower over you. They're huge. Their names will be yellow, and they typically have around like 20-something thousand health points, which is doable if you have legendary items. I've done it before. I completed the whole arena. You get a lot of cool loot from it. But these guys are definitely a challenge to fight, even for someone with legendary items. It took an insane amount of using all my abilities, health, dodge rolling every second, you know, accompanied with these legendary items in order to beat this guy by myself, you know, with only the help of my mount. But it is doable, and it's fun. I mean, a lot of the mobs you'll fight in this game, you do have to dodge roll and stuff. The combat plays a lot like a Dark Souls game, which is really fun for a game this cartoony looking and whatnot. But it is challenging. Another thing to note is when you play with friends, legendary mobs, like I was saying, legendary bosses that have 20-something health points and whatnot, the second each one of your friends hits them, that health gets multiplied. So for example, I was playing with my friends last night. The boss we had to fight had what was it, like 15,000 health points or something like that. The second each one of us hit it, it got multiplied all the way up to 50,000 health points, which didn't take us all very long to kill, since we had a lot of really good gear, but it still was a grind. It still took a lot of kiting the mob to certain people, taking aggro, healing, dodge rolling, stunning, all that in order to defeat him. But we got it done, and we got the artifact in the area. Unfortunately, I'm having a hard time facing the boss on my own in this area. They are really challenging no matter what. They're super challenging to defeat, especially by yourself. This game is definitely meant to be played with friends. Oh, here's a cool little thing. While we're talking about bosses, here are some friendly cows. But you see here, you see how these cows are kind of small and this cow's kind of big. He also has his own name. That's because he's a world boss. Now if I kill him, the other cows will attack. But you can see this one cow dropped a few gold. He dropped gear, gold, and they'll drop other cool things. You know, your battle music will start. It's really cool. What else? What was I talking about before that? Fighting bosses. Oh, as you can see here, you know, we have a legendary alpha dog. We have a epic savage dog. Not gonna fight those guys just because I don't really feel like getting in a battle. You can find these items throughout the map to use for crafting. There'll be wood and things like that. Mushrooms and things. You can use them to craft certain items. You can use them at fire places, or you know, fire pits, campfires you find around the map, to make you know, soup and life potions and things like that that help heal you. Here I got some soup, an apple, a bomb. Bombs aren't really useful unless you're like smashing through things to get to stuff. Snowberry mash, that's really helpful. You saw before, you know, I blew this whistle. Can't get away from me. You hit T and you blow a whistle and it summons your pet. You hit T again and you could ride him. Not every pet is rideable. If I hit E here, I have my little boat. You don't even have to direct it. It'll just cruise forever, or you could direct it. Super cool. A really helpful tip is, like, you know, you're diving in the bottom of the ocean, there's something down there, or you know, a cave or something you're exploring. You just hit E, you'll shoot up out of the water and have your boat there. Or if you're under a cave, it'll shoot you up even though you're still underwater, and you'll be able to move fast, but you'll kind of get stuck on the roof a little bit. So that's kind of annoying. Here's some of the you know, just little NPC animals or mobs that spawn in the area. Trying to think of what else there is I can say. You'll see the mana points there on my character. That's another thing that kind of changes depending on class. So the more I attack, you see if I hold down right trigger here, it charges up and it kind of does more damage. Or the more I attack, it'll do certain things. Here we're at the castle. Each castle is different in every area. It takes certain things to unlock. So there's a little shrine usually right next to the castles so that you can just keep respawning. You know, zoom all the way in for you. So this one, I have to use the spirit bell. Here you go. Just go transparent. I could come in and, you know, you'll see already we have some guys here. Now each tower, I'm just gonna go back out real quick. Oh, real quick before I forget, when you're in the spirit zone, you'll see this little skull. You have about 60 seconds before it wears off, and so far I've only used it just to get through this door. There's no other way to get through this door. The reason I know it's the only way too is because it shows up when I get there. Typically the spirit bell won't show up, but you can still use it by going to your special items and just clicking on it. Now for the castles, every castle there's, you know, it's only purple epics and legendary people to fight. And you can see here we have, oh, there's a friendly gem trader. But sometimes there's even guys walking around besides the map. If I get close, I might be able to trigger it now. Okay, so each one of these towers in the four corners here all have these little blocks that you have to hit in order to open a door that's like right about here on this castle. And then once you get in there, there's an inner perimeter that you have to fight through, and then there'll be another door. So for mine, it's another door I have to use for the spirit bell to get through. Once I get in, there's a handful of legendary and epic mobs that you can try and pick off one by one. And then for this zone, there's a legendary werewolf. He has like 23 or 21,000 health points with just me soloing him. So he's truly difficult to fight. But I will get him eventually. Determined to get him. I will not leave this zone until I have everything. So that's kind of how you do the castles. You can definitely farm some good gear in here just by fighting all the purples and things. It is pretty fun, but as of right now, I can't really get him. Sorry that I keep yawning also. I'm trying to think what else. You get these little quests that you can either find, you know, all the quests you can kind of happen upon, but it's a lot easier if you just talk to any NPC you run into, because they'll give you nearby quests. These little ones are gnomes you have to rescue. I think they're renewable. If I go back there, I can save him again or whatever, but I only really get loot from the boss that I face. Basically, you go in here, you know, they may be in a cooking pot or chained to a ball or a torture table or something in one spot, you know, here, and there may be a boss all the way over here or right next to him or whatever it may be. You fight and kill the ads in the area, you kill the boss, and typically you'll get a skeleton key or some kind of key to unlock them and free them. They'll say how grateful they are, and they drop a whole bunch of coins and items and whatnot, so that's really cool. The graveyard, you know, some of these unique areas that give you, I got the boat here, you know, you have this crypt, this island, you know, like I said, this really stands out, so you know it's going to be something, and that's where I ended up finding this flute. There's a little bit of lore there. Another quick thing when you're going through, if you're going through somewhere, so take this area for example. I first found this area, it stood out, and I was like, you know, what the heck, I'll go there. I came and this name popped up. Now, name will only pop up if it's a unique place. As you can see, all these other areas, you know, there's no name here. There's no name here. It's only in these specific areas. So, I didn't learn this till later on. Then I thought, wow, it's weird that there's a name here and I never got everything. I'd never found anything. So, after walking around, I finally found the little treasure loot item, and then it finally gave a check to show that it was completed and I could move on. I have, oh, there's a tower over here. There's random towers throughout the map. You usually need the heart to open them, but sometimes they'll just have a gate that you can use the spirit key or just open yourself throughout the map, and it'll have loot. Once you get those, they're a one and done kind of deal. As you can see here, a lot of the surrounding biomes will spill into your area, so it does get really easy to confuse and walk through sometimes, and you'll get all the people from, and NPCs and ads and everything from this area you'll get spilling over into this area, so it is kind of cool and unique. Typically, from what I've experienced so far, usually these really tall mountains almost always have the hang glider on them, so that's another telltale sign of how to find a hang glider. Oh, and then this is one thing. So I noticed this little really weird structure here, and when I went there, it is a it's a big round stone with some lore in it, and that helps you get lore for the region, which is super cool, and it's definitely unique. They're hard to find. I haven't really found any more. The only other one I found was down here in this circle of power. Now, real quick, with the circle of power, I had to go here. There was a boss I had to fight. I believe he was an epic, maybe even a legendary. I don't remember. You fight him, you get his loot, whatever, and then there will be, I mean, it might be different in each area. I haven't found a new one yet, but for this area, there was a little fire pit here. I ignited it, and I got the buff, which allows me to have more power, I believe, in this region. I don't think it shows up in inventory, so I don't know how to show exactly what it does now that I haven't, but it was definitely a useful little piece. I guess I could show that in a second. I guess for now, that's basically a big rundown of my guy on this somewhat completed region. I just wanted to show you this. I know I didn't show you a lot of things. I talked about it, but it's a lot easier having these things in front of me and being able to show them than if I was to just talk about them and not have them. So real quick, just to keep this brief, I'm going to switch over to a different character. And these are the characters. You have your ranger, he's a sniper. You have an assassin class for the rogue. You have a berserker warrior. You have your fire mage for your mage class. Now the fire mages can also be water mages. Water mages do damage and heal depending on who they hit. If they hit a friendly, it heals. If they hit an enemy, it does damage. And they have certain abilities that do AoE healing abilities, which is really fun. The warriors can be berserkers or guardians, and the berserkers have like a charge ability and things like that. And the guardian, I think, has it's like a tanking ability that buffs you. Then there's the assassins, and I think the other one is like a ninja where you throw throwing stars and things like that. The assassin allows you to go stealth. I'll show you a little gameplay of each, but real quick, let's create a character just so you can see the character creation. So you start off, and this is your guy. He'll start off as a human, but you have humans, elves, dwarfs, orcs, goblins, lizards, undead, frogmen, and then you're back to human. Just real quick, I'll cycle through as females too, so you can see the character customization does differ between each race and their gender. I typically stick to humans. I really like the way they look. So you can swap between the warrior. Once you start, you'll get different items, but it just shows one basic weapon to start with. So you have your warrior with the club, your archer with the bow and arrow, your mage with his staff, and then you have your rogue with the twin blades. Now, as you can see too, the clothing changes. So each class has different clothing you can wear, just like World of Warcraft. The warriors typically wear like iron or, you know, some kind of like plate armor. The rangers, mages, and rogues typically wear linen armor, or, you know, you could just call it clothing. And I think the mages actually use silk for theirs, and that goes for everything as far as shoes, your torso, and the gloves you can wear all have to match what your character's class can wear. I think for right now, I'm going to make another ranger. You can customize the face. It does change the race, but it mainly just changes the eyes. And then we'll cycle through the haircuts here, so you can go all the way around. I like how the cubes add a lot of depth to the character's hair. You know, you do have some facial hair that you can get with the classes. I think it's pretty unique to just humans with it and dwarves with the facial hair. But for right now, I think we're just gonna pick that. You can pick different colors and things too. What kind of hair do we want to go with here? Give him some black hair. And then you just make your name. I'm just gonna name him Gary. Let's just go with Gary. Gary seems like a very human name. So right off the bat, you just start around a shrine. As you can see, I'm nowhere really near anything, and as you can see, very different area, nowhere near to where I was before, but I am still in that same one world, just randomly in the same world. I could be a billion miles away from my other guy. You could tell from the top with the coordinates. It also gives you the time of day, temperature, some other cool features like that. It tells you your zoom. But real quick, if we just zoom in here, Let's see if we can notice anything. Oh, perfect. So there's a town. We got lucky. There's a town really close by. Also, if you zoom in and out with your mouse wheel, it does control the mini-map as well. Another cool feature, if you hold control and zoom, it zooms out on your guy, or you could zoom in. F1 shows your abilities on the side there. You know, it gives a quick little breakdown. F2 downsizes your user interface, and F3 raises your user interface. Sorry, I still can't speak. And then F4 gets rid of it. So let's see, since this is a new guy, let's see if maybe these guys will give us a quest so we can show that. You hit E to talk. You know, they give you little things. Guess they didn't give us anything. Here's a shrub. See, like, I can't, before I can hit one of these things in one hit, now that I have nothing, I can't do really any damage to anything. It's pretty frustrating when you first start out, especially as you're going about and you just keep dying and dying and dying because you just can't really get by. But trust me, power through it. The game is so fun. The second you find gear, you'll, like, literally just one purple, you'll be able to do anything, even greens. You'll be able to accomplish so much. Me and my friends, when we started, I have a different multiplayer guy. They all had greens. I had just the typical little grays you start out with, and we still got a ton done. Oh, so I think purple here. Yep, you'll see that little question mark, and you'll hear that little chime, and it means that, here you go, she already told us where the harp was. It'll pop up as new in the middle of this forest, and I guess we could head over there in a second, if anyone really cares. Oh, over here I can already see an arena in the next region. I can already tell that this is going to be something, so I'll mark it by pushing the middle mouse wheel. Jesus, if I could speak today, that would be amazing. This may be something, so I'll mark that as an area of interest for myself. That's definitely going to be something. That's a shrine. This probably just has lore. But I'll get to that when I get the boat. You see how just scrolling through the map, I'm not even really zoomed in. See, if I zoom in anymore, that's 100% a shrine. It could be some lore, but that's definitely something you could just, especially after playing the game for a while, you start to notice these things, and they're definitely super helpful. That's a little area where I could get stuff. This is most definitely going to be something in the next area. That's an item. That's probably one of those lore stones. You'll get some different trees in here, and those can confuse you sometimes. That's going to be a house where I can get an item. You see, just going throughout this, you can really just pull out these things right off the bat. Makes it a whole lot easier, so you're not just aimlessly wandering around. But that is still a good way to find some really cool stuff. Let's see, do we have any really tall areas? Now, I'm not sure if you'll be able to find a boat and hang glider in every region. The region I was playing with my friends, I came into as they were exploring for hours, and they never found a glider, so I'm not sure if every region has a glider or a boat or things like that. This region seems to have no real big mountains, so it's possible I might not have a hang glider in this area, which would definitely be a bummer for transportation, but whatever, you'll make do. Oh, one of the things I was saying just before was that I wasn't able to play with my friends, so there is, obviously, I'm playing a beta version of an early version of the game that's releasing on September 30th. I have the beta because I played the alpha for the past 6 years with no updates, so I got the game early, and I got this game for free, even though I did already pay for the pre-release version. I think it was like 20 bucks, and I think that's going to be the price of it now. So the problem was, every time I hit J, my game would crash. Every time if you hit escape, you get this little menu, you know, where you can open up all the same things with hotkeys. Even if I would click this, you see my friends list here, it would crash my game. So one quick fix I found in the forums on Steam was that people just deleted a friend off their friends list, and it was able to work again. I don't know what this bug is, but I know that they are actively working on the bugs. Every single day, the developer and his wife put out a new update fixing a ton of issues. And they're very responsive through emails, through Twitter, and his wife does moderate the the Steam forums. So any issues you have can be found there, or they work with you if you post any issues on the known bugs and issues page. They're very fast about it, and I believe that this is going to be the speed at which they go about things in the future. Like I said, every single day there's a new bug fix and patch that alters any issues in the game, and they're actively just working on making this game as playable as possible. But if you do run into this issue, don't bug out. As far as I know, it won't corrupt your saves. I did it on my guy like 50 times at one point, and nothing got corrupted on my save or my guy. A second I deleted one friend on my friends list, that list showed up. I guess it might just be an issue with showing more than the friends that are on here now. I know a lot of people said they had 14 friends and they deleted one and it worked. 15 friends and they deleted one. I don't really have a lot of friends on Steam. I don't really have a lot of friends in general. But I had like 10 friends or something. I deleted 2 that haven't played in forever. And the second I did that, it worked. So you see here, the town always has a lot of adventures that come through. You'll notice them throughout the world. And then you just have your regular NPCs here. You'll also notice, let's zoom really quick here, there's a bunch of floating items in here. So you have your anvil, that's used for crafting. You have your customization bench. If I had wood and things, I can actually add on things to customize my weapon to make it unique to me. You also have a furnace. You can use a furnace to make iron cubes and things like that. You just smelt them. If I come over here, you have a saw to make wood items. You have a workbench to make other wood items. This is more for, you know, turning wood into wood cubes and whatnot. Let's see. If I zoom in really quick, we'll just break this down. The looking glass is, you'll get these little things. They kind of look like some kind of weird muffin or something. It's like a gray block with either green, blue, yellow, or purple little blocks inside it. Looks kind of weird. It looks like an item that's not really supposed to be there. They're called leftovers. Leftovers are basically a mystery item you'll take to this little guy with the magnifying glass, and he'll tell you what it is. That's a really cool feature, I think. You get them randomly, and you never really know what you're going to get. You go here, you pay 1 gold, which right now kind of sucks. I have 0 gold, but once you start killing things in the game, I mean, you get gold like crazy. If you kill a Scottish Terrier, which is a friendly thing that's just around the map, you'll get 2 to 3 gold. So you can get gold pretty easily. When you fight bosses, especially in the arena, you get an insane amount of gold. You may be able to get 50 gold from one thing. When I killed the epic boss at the end of the arena, or the legendary boss rather, that had, you know, the 23,000 health or whatever I was talking about, I got like 300 gold from there. So 1 gold, it's, I think 1 gold for a common, 2 gold for a rare, 3 gold for a epic, and 4 gold for a legendary. I mean, that's nothing, you know, that's nothing compared to what you end up making. You have an inn. A lot of times there'll be adventurers in there or whatever. Inns are basically, you just go to sleep, you pay 10 gold, and it'll reset from nighttime to daytime. You have the this is like the tailor or whatever you want to call it. That's where you do a lot of things with cloth gear. Then you have a weapons vendor, an items vendor, an armor vendor, and then over here the crown is the class trainer I showed on my other guy that will change the specs for your character. After this I'll go and we could just break down the different skills from each character, and then you can stop listening to my voice because I've tortured you enough with it already. One of the coolest features I love about this game is you have Flight Master. Now obviously I can't do anything yet because I have no gold and it costs gold, but you can literally fly. Let's go all the way, let's see, we're 100 kilometers away. I can fly to any region I wanted to as long as I have the gold. Now, another really amazing feature about this Flight Master is when you click on the Flight Master, let's say you're playing with a friend. Now, like I said, you play your world solo. The second you play in a multiplayer match, your friends come in here and you don't share, you share a world for the multiplayer region, but when you go back into solo, you'll be in, let's say, you know, I'm here and my friends are here. Probably not going to be likely, but I fly all the way to this zone on multiplayer. When I get out of multiplayer, when my friend quits or I quit and I come back the next day, my guy will be in this region. You don't come back to the region you were in solo, unfortunately. So if you are making some progress in one region, I would definitely not leave it until you found everything. That's why I kind of have a character dedicated to multiplayer and a character dedicated to my solo player. But the really, really cool feature that you get when you're talking to one of these Flight Masters is, I can't show you right now because I don't have any friends online currently, but you'll see a little wing, as you can see here. What is it? When we go in, there's a little wing like this. When on the corners of your map somewhere, wherever direction your friends are, you'll see a little wing and their face. If you click on their face, it will fly you to that person no matter where they are, even if they're not near a flight zone. In less than 30 seconds, it'll fly you there for free and drop you down wherever they may be, which is a super, super, super amazing feature. Makes it really cool to play with friends. I mean, otherwise, like I said, when I first spawned in, I was like 80,000 kilometers away from my friends, which would have taken me, I mean, eons to get to, not to mention dying countless times trying to get throughout the region. So that's super fun, super amazing. But let's just get back into the character development and things so that you can stop suffering listening to my voice. Real quick, this is one of those crossbows that I was telling you about before. If I hold it down, he shoots down a really powerful shot, and that's really the only difference there. Here's my little Shadow Hunter guy. I don't know if I showed him before, but they change no matter what. And they'll basically do anything you do. If you have a boat, he'll spawn a boat. If you have a glider, he'll spawn a glider. If you dodge, he dodges, and things like that. It's pretty cool. It's a neat little feature. Alright, so now let's back out, and we'll show you some of the different characters. I'm just going to we'll go on my rogue real quick. So you see, another character I barely made any progress with. I just spawned them just to have. I did spawn in this region where there is this crypt, and you'll see a lot of enemies. Now, don't be frustrated and, you know, don't not play the game because you spawn in an area with a lot of enemies. But sometimes you'll spawn and there will be guys right on top of you that just beat the living shit out of you. Yes, I'll say shit because we don't really care about saying curses on this channel. Just saying. We're cool here. No, I'm just kidding. That was fucking lame. But, you know, you'll see that's a legendary boss right there. That guy will fucking vaporize me. He has 2,000 health. These guys are just those purples 400, so they're even doable. I have 200, but they'll still, especially with the amount of them that there are, they'll still destroy me. And so it does get a little frustrating sometimes to have that. but don't let it deter you. At the very least, just start a new character. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to develop a new character, or just log out and come back another time and they'll be gone. But let's break down some of the features real quick. So every character has like different attack speeds and whatnot. I'm using this longsword, so you see I just have the regular swings, and then I actually don't have any mana charged up, so I can't do, let's see, where'd those dogs go? We'll go attack those dogs just for fun. Oh, you do take damage if you fall too much, and you will get dazed. Even with a hang glider, if your hang glider runs out of stamina while you're flying, you will crash and you'll be dazed. If you run out of stamina mid-air, you'll just spiral down till you'll crash. So it does get a little bit frustrating. But let's kill some dogs. So as you can see, this dog's doing work on me. And as you can see there, I use my right click and it stuns them. Typically, right click is a stun ability. And there you go. They killed me because when you start out, you suck. So that was kind of fun there. That shows you that we got vaporized. So with not every class, but with some classes, you have dual wielded items. So these, you just have the fists. They have like when you right click, it's like a kick ability. We could try and go and get killed by these dogs again. Oh yeah, another cool thing is you'll get a tombstone that shows up from the last place you died, which is fun. Helps you out. Seeing you do a little kick there. And usually it's just, they don't do a lot of damage. When you do the right click ability, it's mainly just for a stun effect. See? You stun them, and then you just beat the living shit out of them. And then you get gold. See, now we have 5 gold, just like that. And then finally, we just, oh, no, not that. We have these 2 dual wield daggers. You do, I believe it's a spin ability when you right click. Now aside from that, actually let's see if we could find a town. Here's a cool little volcano. Usually there's something up there. You can see there's like a little temple thing here. Again, this is how easy it is just to find things in the area. Oh, this is definitely going to be something. So yeah, this is definitely abnormal. But let's see if we can find a town that's, I mean, this zone's huge too. Look at how huge this zone is compared to some of the other zones I was just in. You have the castle there, an arena there. This looks like a town in the next zone that's not helpful. That's a crypt area. Give me a town. Alright. So, oh, these things are cool. I haven't been to them yet, but it's called like a mana generator or something. They're huge. They have a ton of enemies. I haven't been able to fight one yet because they have a lot of high-level guys. Oh, here's a town. Actually, that may be ancient ruins. As I was saying, the mana generators have a ton of guys, and my only really one guy that can do a lot of damage. Oh, there's a town, but that's so far away. I guess I'll show you on a different guy. My only guy that can do a considerable amount of damage doesn't have a mana generator. It's in the next water zone on him, and I don't have any way to fight in there because I don't have any items yet. But real quick, I wasted enough of your time. The rogues can just go stealth on their assassin class. It lasts about 20 seconds. You can see in the top left corner. That's super cool. And then if you hit the jump button and the middle button, you get a little AoE poison vial. That's pretty fun. And other than that, that's about all that's unique for this class that I can remember off the top of my head. So real quick, we'll switch to a different character. These are warriors. They're really cool. They start off with more health than other people. Why is this guy here? This is not where I left him. Oh, this was where I left him. That's right. So I was playing with my friends. As you can see here, definitely cool feature is these sorry about that, blimps that come in, rain down guys. These Steel Empire guys can spawn anywhere on any region. But you see over there, they're attacking people, but I can't help them because they're purples. So real quick, we'll just break down. Warrior, they typically have a sword and shield. As you can see, they go like this, where they attack and swipe. Or you could go like this and charge up your shield, which I can't really show you right now, again, because these guys have to generate mana points, which is frustrating. But once you start hitting things, it's cool. A cool feature about the warriors is that as you hit, they get aggro. They'll start to turn red. And let's see, is he a friendly? No, he's a friendly. We'll go talk to him. So they start to turn red, and they gain, I think, more damage. I don't know. It gives you some kind of buff, which is fun. Let's see what this guy has. Order the Light. These guys are super cool. They're always in gold armor. And he's got a little quest for us. I wonder where it is hidden. Oh, I guess I already have that. But so that's your basic rundown with these. When you charge this up, it just kind of gives like a heavy hit. If you hit spacebar and middle button, you do this cool little charge. You can do a spin ability if you hit shift. Oh, that's what I forgot to mention in the rogues. If you hold shift, you go camouflage as well. And then with the berserker, you have this rock fist, which is a cool charge ability. And then let's see, where was the town here? So this castle, you'll see it gives you this item and increased sailing speed, which is fun. Oh, I didn't get the teleportation on the village here. That's annoying. But as you can see in the distance, there's one of those floating things, and I think you can make out. Nope, that's clouds. But you get one of those legendary items there. So when you start out, oh, that's annoying. Okay, so I went to a new region with my friends on this guy, and so I don't have the starting items, but we'll make another one. Or not. Alright, so where did that one guy go that I made before? Alright, whatever. We'll go to a fire mage now, and then I'll delete a guy and make a new one. So fire mages, you have rings which shoot these fireballs. If you charge it up, it shoots those out, which is its like stun ability, which is really cool. You also have a staff, which I really hate. They create these vortexes, or a bigger vortex, and then you have a wand which shoots this laser, or you can shoot like this harder laser that stays for a while, which is kind of cool. But I like using these because they're fast and easy. You have your typical roll ability. If you press jump and middle mouse button, you teleport, which is definitely a cool, useful feature. Your shift ability with these guys is that you can levitate, which is somewhat useful, but is not really as fast as running or walking. Real quick, a cool feature that I've noticed is, you know, lava, you burn and things like that, but if you go in water, if you notice in the top corner over here, there's this chilly little guy, and my guy is blue. I have frostbite. Frostbite is for touching water in a snow region, and it slows your guy, even from transportation of levitating or whatever, for 10 seconds, which is definitely such a cool little added feature. Like I said, there's so much in this game that makes the game so cool to play, and definitely cool to invest in, especially for the fact that it's one guy who made all of this giant stuff. The special ability for the fire mage is you hit R and he rains down those missiles. Now, like I said, the other spec for this is a water mage, which again, I can't show you because I'm not near a town, but they just do the same things that fire mages do, except they have, instead of the fire rocket ability, they have an AoE water ability that heals people in the area, and every time you hit someone, it does water damage or water healing, which is super fun. And then, as you can see from my armor here, they do wear silk boots. Yeah, that's what I was saying before, is they wear silk armor. And then every character you can get a left and right ring to do certain other abilities. And then you have your rings, or I'm sorry, then you have your amulets or whatever. Rings you do have to put on both hands for the mage class. Just make sure you are wearing both on both hands, otherwise you'll be doing half damage. These are the leftovers I was telling you about. See how they look like some weird sort of like throw up muffin thing? And then here are the items we have. This is my character I play with my friends. So these are some of the items we have in this region so far. These are some of the items I've gathered. I don't have any pets in here. And then we have the Ring of Zankai. That's the artifact for the last region we were in, which was... that needs to go away. Which was over here. See, we have a little check mark there. And, you know, I came in while they were completing all this, so I didn't get a lot of the stuff. But we just moved on to here for the meantime. And we were just trying to find some of the new items and see some of the different features in this game. So I believe that's all for this guy. And then if we go to... Alright, so I'm in a town here. Now I can show you the different... If you go to the guild master, this is how you switch your spec. I want to go to a ninja. And then, as you can see, I do... he didn't do it. But you get this different special ability here. I don't know why it didn't work, but hopefully it will. So here you can see I can run super fast if I hold shift with my rogue. And then I don't think the shift abilities change. Oh, they do. So now I go stealth. I did not know that the shift abilities change. Then you go camouflage. I switch back to my ninja. Still in stealth from my last character, which is dope. I'll do my little Naruto run here. And then, let's see, we have 5 seconds. Ninjutsu. I don't know what that does. It must increase my damage or something. I'm not sure. But then you just have your regular dodge rolls and things like that. Oh, there you go. When I do ninjutsu, oh, okay, that's why I wasn't clicking. You do ninjutsu and you could throw the shurikens. Here again, I have a longsword. And then you just have your regular other items that I already showed you. And then I guess for right now you can only have these characters. Let's delete her for now. Now it shows Gary. We already showed the sniper. That's not what I wanted to do. We could delete Gary. Don't want to kill you, Gary. I love you, but not really. What's it gonna do? We'll just do a quick warrior. Name him Gary Jr. Sound good? Alright, Gary Jr. And then, oh, look at that. We're already next to a town. So, you have your typical sword and shield. Then you have your iron greatsword, or short sword rather. Oh, that's weird. Usually it doesn't let you have. And then you have your two-hander, which in this case, when you start off with, is a club. And then we'll just get over here real fast. We'll change to the Guardian, so I can show you the Guardian. They still have the spin ability, but they have block power there. And then if I hit R, you just have your rally cry there, which I'm pretty sure just gives you a buff. That's about it. That's how that changes for this character. I guess the middle mouse button doesn't do anything when you switch specs, because I haven't noticed anything. But we'll switch over to try and show you guys a water mage. And this is Gary's body, since he's dead twice now. Gary and Gary Jr. Is this a town? Hopefully this is a town. I've never seen a town that's different like this. Usually they're all like... Actually, I have. Sometimes they have blue roofs and... Roofs? Things like that. That's weird. I've never seen like a temple building like that. It's cool. I like how everything changes depending on the region. How things are... Like I said, nothing is auto-generated except for the random variables and people you run into. All the castles and everything like that are predetermined by the developer. So all the in-depth things you see are so amazing. So as you can see here, change to water. If I hit R, I have these water bubbles that heal people when they walk through them. I can still teleport on this guy. I can still levitate. And then you do here, you can just shoot the little water bubbles. Even on the floor, if you hit on the floor, see how I get healed? You just hit the floor and the people get healed, and then with the wand, same thing. See, I'm healing her. Definitely a cool feature, definitely super helpful. And I think that is really about it. I think I showed you guys everything. If you like this video, like every YouTuber says, give it a thumbs up. Oh, another quick little feature I thought was really cool is, so if I'm in a game with my friends, right? Let's say my friends were with me here right now. I hit to go to the main menu. My friends would actually stay in the game, and I can actually still see them running around down here, which is super fun. Just a cute little feature. This is actually the world your character is in. So you'll just fly around in the sky here, but this is unique to each world that each one of your characters is in, which is super cool. So if I go back here, it's nighttime. Oh, by the way, each character, I did forget to mention, each character has a lantern, helps you see in the dark, and you can eventually get an artifact item that helps brighten your lantern. Like I said, artifact items do carry over to every single region that you're in, which is super cool, and that really creates the need for going to different regions, because, you know, I can get increased sailing speed here, and a brighter lantern, and increased, you know, weapon damage, or whatever it might be, and then by the time I'm here, I'm just like, have so many artifacts that give me so many cool features, that it really makes it cool to just keep going and gather them all, which is super fun. And then, let's see, if I just go back, if I go back out to my start menu, you see, now we're in the sky in this region, with the castle back there and everything. You can see there's no real way, I don't know what just happened there. There's no real way to get in from the top, and you can see people still moving around in there. But if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I know I'm really sloppy. I coughed and, you know, yawned so much throughout this video and didn't really have my thoughts planned out. But I just wanted to give a quick little overview to this amazing game. I have noticed a lot of people haven't either heard of it, or people that have tried it and don't really take the time to understand or find all the features in the game and just instantly hate on it. Like I said, it is a game that still needs a lot of work, and the developers are working on it each and every day, and they plan to really, oh, you see that little blue feature? It's showing me there's an item nearby. That's weird that it just showed up while I was in the sky. So that's a cool feature, but that means there's an item around there somewhere I'll have to go back and get. But there is a lot of work to still be done here, but it's definitely a cool game to mess around with friends. It's got such an immersive feeling in it. The fact that there's lore and such an amazing, as you can see here, open world to just enjoy and explore. It's truly fantastic. There's so many different things to run into and to have fun with, and all the items you find and whatnot. Having fun with friends is great. The game definitely goes a lot smoother when you play with friends, especially at the start, because you could just get so much more done. So definitely check it out. But just be aware that there are some ups and downs to it, just like every game. There are some issues. The game, like I said, only released a couple days ago, with 6 years of the guy developing it by himself from the initial alpha. And the game does officially drop on the 30th on Steam. You can pick it up. You can research it online. Just don't believe some of the reviews you see, because I've seen a couple of them and people just really don't give it the light of day to try and learn things. They just go in and say, oh, I can't do damage. Oh, I instantly got killed. Oh, you know, this and that. It's so hard to find things. I don't like losing my items, this and that. It's totally worth playing. It's a fun little game to play, and definitely a game, you know, that you could, you know, throw a few hours each month into, especially as the game progresses. It's definitely a cool game to come to from the alpha game. And you know, if this video gets any requests or enough likes, I can always do a video comparing it to the alpha game and show all the differences. It is a totally huge difference. Basically, only the basic mechanics of movement and abilities, for the most part, are what stays the same. The world looks the same, but not nearly as developed. There's next to nothing to do. You can just run around and kill things. But just like the base game, XP never really played a factor. Basically, XP in the base game, just you could get to like level 100, and it just mattered what items you could wear, and you could level up certain skills like your camouflage ability, your riding ability. So that kind of got swapped out in this version of the game, which I actually really like. A lot of people are really hating on, oh, there's no XP, I can't level my climbing, this and that. But you can get the boots in each region that let you climb forever, which you couldn't even get before. In the alpha game, you would have had to level up your stamina for climbing, and even then, you can only climb for a certain amount of time. This, you could climb forever. You know, certain things like that. You can get all these items that are specific to your region. Your guy can wear any level of armor, because there are no actual level requirements for wearing armor or using weapons. All it is that you find it, and that it's for your class, which is super fun, super amazing. Like I said a million times just in the past 2 minutes, definitely check this game out. It's definitely worth getting or investing just some research into if it's the game for you. Like I said, I've waited about 6 years for this game to develop. I thought it was a lost cause back in 2013, and I still, not a lost cause in the sense of not playing it, but I thought that it got kind of canned, and that the guy was never going to come out with it for a long time, because he would post maybe 2-3 videos or pictures a year of things he's developing, nothing on when he's going to release it, and then out of nowhere, he said, September 30th, your wish has come true. This game comes out, and I mean, I've already invested, I think, 20 hours just into playing this one character you see here, which is just goes to show you how fun it is. I mean, I'm only in this one region. I mean, just running around trying to find everything, trying to fight everything, finding all these random world bosses like that cow you saw earlier. Just super fun, and just a great overall experience, and just such a great thing to see that one guy did. Like, this isn't even, you know, 5 friends in their garage or their mom's basement. This is one guy developing this entire fantastic game and all its amazing features, from guys being airlifted and parachuting down on the ground to random world bosses and this huge open world, all the different biomes, all the different mechanics, all that. It's definitely such a great game to pick up and to invest some time into and to watch over time. That's going to be the big thing with this game, is watching it over time and seeing where this game ends up in a couple months, in a couple years. I mean, I truly think that this game can be like a really blockbuster game, and it's like I keep saying, I can't stress enough, one guy made this game, so that's just truly amazing. Thanks again for watching. I'm sorry for rambling on and being inconsistent. I can try and do better in the future, but like I said, these are kind of raw videos I just do with a quick screen capture and no real editing. So with that being said, I'll stop torturing you and let you to go experience this game for yourself.